The show is The Way to Go. My name is Alan Bendich. I'm going to be your host. Tonight's guest is Max Bendich. Hey, Pop.
How are you, my son?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine.
Me too. I was thinking, because there's, I'm going to become an empty nester soon because my daughter Kara's leaving to go to college in August. I was thinking about, just how it all started, beyond, after the marriage. But, I remember when Wendy, my wife, we were on vacation at I think it was in Montauk, and we brought the, like the early pregnancy tests, these, whatever it was. And, we wanted to have a kid, and, so I left her alone to take the test, and I came back, and the test turned purple. And it was like, oh my God, because we were hoping, I was kind of an older father, and we were hoping to get pregnant, and all of a sudden it turned purple. So I remember the first person I called wasn't you. I called up a guy that I was working with at Sony, because I was working at Sony at the time, to tell him, because he was a good friend. And then we were trying to figure out a way of how we were going to tell people. But anyway, it was exciting. We told Wendy's parents and you, and it was amazing, And
It wasn't only me, it was Mom
and
also.
and
Remember?
Dave,
It was
Mom.
Mom.
And we were all excited. And then, I guess some months later, you came to the hospital, and Aaron was born.
How was I don't remember.
Yes.
How was it with David and Miriam
What do you mean?
when they heard it?
Everyone was excited.
I know it. That's what I want to hear. Everyone was excited.
It was great. I know Michael and Gaby, who are your other grandchildren, were excited about having cousins on this side of the family, because they had cousins from, on Sam's, Mimi's husband's side. But it was just, it was pretty amazing. And, you see a kid, little boy, brand new boy, what's going to happen with that boy, And then, you turn around, next thing you know, he's got a sister,
Take it easy. Not so fast.
I know, but it was wonderful. We took him home, and it was great. But even before then, I remember you and Mom coming, and Rose and Norm, my in-laws, coming to the hospital. Mimi came, and of course David came, and they saw. And I just remember Mom. We gave Mom. He was swaddled up and all this. We gave Mom Aaron, and she was afraid that she was going to break him. Remember that?
But with me,
yes.
What did I do?
You sang the Jewish song, Oifin Pripachuk. And
why? I said, and after I finished it, I said, I hope you hear another Jewish word in you.
Right, and now Aaron is studying Yiddish. And he has a radio show with Yiddish folk songs.
See that?
But I just
all
remember.
my fault.
That's it. And then, Wendy went back to work after a certain amount of time. And during that time when she went back to work, you and Mom used to watch Aaron all the time, right? Do you remember that?
And I wouldn't forget it for a moment.
Yes.
I had a wonderful time. I actually learned things from them.
I know.
But the best time I saw them, I was lucky. In the laundry business, you could do a certain amount of work, and I had time to do that and be with the kid.
Well,
take him
let's be honest, Pop. A lot of times you still went to the club. Mommy used to take care of him a lot. There were times when, you came after lunch.
Yes.
Because you would take Mommy to our house, when we lived in Yonkers at the time. This is before we moved to Larchmont. And Mom would stay with Aaron and babysit him while Wendy was going to work. And I just remember, and Aaron still remembers it. He has a memory that he doesn't forget. She put a lot of powder on him when he was changing. He just remembers being powdered, unbelievable amount of powder when they were changing him. But those are memories that he still remembers. And then you would take him when you come back from the club, which was the senior center. You'd take him for walks, and that was good.
In a big carriage.
Right.
And I would sing him Yiddish songs.
Right.
And
not just Yiddish songs. Keep talking.
Two people living on the same block.
Right.
And had the same name as your in-laws.
Right. The Lisses.
Then I said it.
The Lisses.
And they were marveled that here I am walking with the carrot,
Right.
singing, and the baby looking at me.
Yeah.
Who was happy? I would think I was the happiest guy in the
But
world.
Aaron still remembers those times, you know. And he was. I also remember the day that he learned how to walk. You were at the house, and that was cool, you know. And you know, and Aaron, you know, he was and is a remarkable kid. I mean, he started talking when he was 10 months old, and as I like to say, you know, jokingly, he hasn't shut up since. No, but he started talking very early, and he had a vocabulary of like an amazing amount of words before he was 1 year old, and very smart kid. And you know, anyway, we'll proceed a little bit. I mean, and he'd do things like the Aaron show and things like that. He was always entertaining.
I remember that the Alan. Thank you.
Yes.
the Erins show.
That's right.
And
And
little by little, I started to think, what is going to happen? How is he going to grow up and everything? And that was the most important thing in my life, wondering, trying my best to put my input, some input in him. But
and you did. I mean,
but
you
know
are central to him.
But as far as I can remember, I think most of my spare time, I was in your house many times.
Yes.
And with the car, walking up and down.
Right.
And
Mom was there every Monday, I think Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because I think Wendy was working 3 days a week. And it was great. And then on the weekends we'd come over because there was a Burger King near your house, so we'd get like the kids' meals, and then he'd play in the balls, you know, the plastic balls. He'd jump in with that, and like a play.
besides the kid meals,
Yeah.
you get a prize.
Right.
I had Alan. I had
know. How many bags of-
all those prizes.
I know.
And Alan, again, I don't remember. Have they still got that now?
Oh, you mean, do we still have it, or do they?
No,
No, they still do it. They still
They
give
still
to us.
do
Right.
it. Look, it's a cost.
Right.
But it's something that giveaway.
Right.
Will,
But the thing that Aaron liked really was hanging out at your house, because it was nice to come to visit. We'd go there on the weekends, and he got, you know, very attached. But then all of a sudden, when he was a little bit under 3 years old, I think there was going to be a new surprise that happened in his life, and you know, Wendy and I was thinking, we wanted to have another kid, and Wendy, wound up getting pregnant, and Carol was born. And she was born the day before my birthday. She was born July 14th, and my birthday is July 15th. And again, you were at the hospital with Mom, and Rose and Norm were there.
I think Mom was the happiest when Carol was a girl.
I know, it was the first girl in 50 years. That's what we kept on saying. Because I think that's, whatever. I think that's how old Mimi was when she was born. So, and it was exciting. And Carol was a different kid, but, and she loved her. She was, as she said in her graduation speech this week, she was
from high school.
From high school, for her salutatorian address.
Yes.
She talked about her brother, and she talked about how, her brother did the show, and she was always his biggest fan and was always there. But she was always like the shy one. She was always, because Aaron was always taking center stage.
Yes.
He was always, and you know that, right? But I think Aaron was a little nervous. I think he was very happy that he was getting a sister and not a brother, because I think that he liked being the boy and that it was going to be a girl. There'd be a distinction. And but it was great. They loved each other. They beat the crap out of each other, but they loved each other. It was nice.
And now, as we're talking, it's been a long time. I feel I'm young, Alan. I feel that, how is it possible that this was happening? I never in my life, what kind of life did I have earlier?
I know, delivering laundry and all that stuff.
And, and wait a minute, how about in the Army? And,
Right.
And here I am, I came back, luckily, and from that moment on, a new life.
Right.
It was a new life, Alan. All of a sudden, I'm a father,
Right.
and another father with Miriam, and keep on talking.
So
many things
Cara,
that I don't remember.
So I just remember, like, Cara, from like day one, you know, and Kara was always Aaron would do things, and then Kara would do the same thing. Like she would model herself after him. You know, like if Aaron was doing a show, she would like if Aaron was dancing around, Kara would dance around, and we have that on video, which is nice. Oh. And you know, Kara looked up to her big brother.
The way I'm talking, I didn't think this was going to happen. I remember you had a couch,
right?
And they would hide behind the couch,
right.
both of them,
right.
And I would be talking, where are they? And Alan behind that.
Well, I think it was more done with Aaron, because what happened was, when Kara was born, we were living in a one-bedroom apartment in Yonkers, and Aaron lived in the living. We had a gigantic living room. I mean, it was very big. So Aaron lived in the back of the living room. We had this area that we separated, and all of a sudden we got another kid. So then we started looking, and this is something that Kara also talked about in her address. Wendy and I, my wife Wendy and I, started looking for a place primarily that had the best school district that we could go to.
That's right.
But there were two things. I mean, we could, you know, we were thinking, you know, Eastchester, Scarsdale, Greenberg, Larchmont, Mamaroneck, and we went to visit all the different schools. And two things that and Kara talked about this. The Mamaroneck school system is great. There's no question about it. And believe me, when Wendy makes a decision, it's an educated decision, and she checks everything. The one thing she liked, and it turns out was very good for Kara, what she mentioned, was that there was a lot of performing arts available in the Mamaroneck school system. There's also television, there's choreography, there's the PACE program, all these things that made it interesting. The other thing that she liked about this area is it wasn't like in Scarsdale, it's pretty much a homogeneous group of people, whereas here it's a more diverse community. So she didn't want, because we're from the Bronx, you know, both Wendy and I are from the Bronx, we didn't want to be in a community where everybody looks the same. We wanted to have people who from different parts of the world, speaking different languages, have the kids experience diversity. And that was one of the things that we liked about Larchmont and Mamaroneck here, because, and it worked out.
Not only did it work out, the way what do I remember? That as they were growing up and going to school, in the first grades, and you know, in the lower grades, you and they would be performers.
Right.
They were in every play.
Right.
They were, and who was there all the time? Mom and me,
right.
And you.
Right.
And we would get there.
We'd be the first ones there.
And we were there. We were number one on that door almost every time.
And I know people didn't appreciate it. I mean, they got to see us, but the thing is, there was you couldn't purchase a seat that was assigned.
Mm-hmm.
It was first come, first served.
Yes, right.
So once they say first come, first served, I got to be first. Yeah.
And Alan, we were always first.
I know.
So, let's say the row of it was always on the left side, and
right.
maybe I don't know, maybe from looking
also to
down.
help Mom to go to the bathroom. We wanted to be on the left side. That was one of the reasons.
And believe me, you were right about one thing about the bathroom.
Right.
As she grew older and older, even when eventually we came to where we live now,
right.
Where did she find a seat?
Right next to the bathroom.
Right next to the bathroom. And again, but we're not talking about Mom now. Right. We'll talk about the Mom later. We're talking about the new generation. Little by little, we saw them grow up, Alan.
I know.
And again, when I think about it and I compare myself right now with other people, we talk. No one, I don't care, no one had the life that I had. Right. First of all, I had time. And when you work, you have no time. You have no time. You have to work, let's say, from 8 to 5. Right. We were there, I don't remember. What time were the plays?
The plays? Well, it was always on a Saturday or Sunday, so it didn't make a difference. It did make, because when you were working.
Oh yeah, Saturday was the most important.
That was the most important day. When you had your laundry, you would get me and a bunch of kids, and we'd be in Manhattan at 6:30 in the morning, delivering laundry. We'd be knocking before breakfast on people's doors, and we'd work until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's when we'd be finished. Then you'd go home, unload the truck, and maybe do some other work at the laundry.
Well, I don't remember.
I do.
But whatever we did,
yes,
was good.
Right.
I don't remember even goofing up. I mean, as we progressed, we didn't go from here to the end and
Right.
come back over here.
Right.
But that, if the people who are listening to us can
Yeah.
imagine, we're going to see a play like Wendy and
Right. Peter Pan. Peter
any
Pan.
any kind of those children's plays,
Right.
and we were number one.
I know.
First of all, there were very few people who would come in husband and wife.
Right.
Why? Because again, maybe in the back they would be sitting,
Right.
but in the front we.
I know.
And it was you, I think, who said.
Right. I was. The thing is, a lot of people get embarrassed. You know, like Wendy didn't want to do it too much because she felt like, you know, that it's an embarrassment. But to me, it's an embarrassment. But you know, soon we'll be finished with public school, and do we want to sit in the back or do we want to sit in the front? And you know, what kind of embarrassment? I mean, you know, what is embarrassment anyway? You know,
No,
it doesn't mean that much.
But we're talking about it now.
Right.
How fast it goes.
That's what I'm saying. Who cares about embarrassment?
It wasn't fast. It was slow, which was good.
Yeah, but it
And
went-
we,
yeah.
Mom and I, grew up at the same time, Kara and Erins.
Right.
Alan,
I know. And you were taking. I mean, you definitely experienced Kara and Aaron.
yes.
I mean, you knew them from the moment they were born till now. I mean, maybe it's less time we're spending now because they have their own lives.
That's good.
But when they were young, you spent a lot of time because we made sure that happened. And,
I know it. And the games we played.
It was good. I just remember there was this one doll that Mom used to like, and the doll was called Benjamin.
Yeah. Oh.
And the kids I mean, that was like the third grandchild in the house the fifth, whatever. But it was Kara, Aaron, and Benjamin. And Mom loved Benjamin. Kara loved Benjamin. I know.
I don't remember about Mama. Kara,
I know.
like a brother. But she gave him the name
Benjamin.
Benjamin. Maybe because of
Bendich.
Bendich.
Right.
So and it fit in.
I know. I think we still have Benjamin.
All right, good. Why not?
Right. But
That's
one thing.
history.
Now, like Aaron had a lot of friends, imaginary friends. That was when he was a kid. He had a ton of imaginary friends.
I'm trying to remember.
One of them was called Sally. That was his favorite friend. That was his first, I think. Then he had Goalie. Then he had imaginary Max and Carolino, who was his cousins. I mean, he had a very active imagination. Kara used to, she had a lot of dolls. And what she would do is she'd line up all the dolls, and then she loved to read, and she still loves to read. So she would read, even before she knew how to read, she had these cloth books, and she would make believe she's reading, she would be reading a story there was no story there, but she remembered the stories we told her, and then she would take the book and go like this to show the pictures to all her dolls. And it was such a, and she's
Imagination.
Just, imagination.
When does imagination start in children? I mean,
Right.
if they were very young, remember. So I mean, I never thought of things like this, but now that we're talking, imagination, they must have.
I mean, I think the whole thing is imagination. You have to construct something. You know, you don't know. You haven't been educated yet, so you have to make up. I guess
You have to make.
make sense out of it.
And it shouldn't be too high or too low.
Right.
Just what you know about.
And the other thing that I used to love about both Aaron and Kara, and I still do because I have the memories, is that when you're really young, or even when you're older with rock and roll songs, you know, you think you hear the words of a song, but you don't know the exact words. So she would she would hear twinkle twinkle, but she'd say crinkle crinkle, you know, like whatever the words, or when she sang. I guess whatever the ABCs, things like that. She would the way she would do it, instead of like LMNOP, it would be would be like a slurred line because that's how she heard it, you know. And it's like adorable when kids do it.
There was a possibility
Yes.
that Kara, maybe Aaron also, sang before they talked.
I don't know.
Because again, we were always singing.
Well, not only that, when we lived in Yonkers, I had all these. When I worked at Sony, I got maybe 200, maybe more, I don't know, CDs. And I had Sony's CD player, and it was, and I would be constantly playing these kids' songs, including Pete Seeger's CD for kids, always it would be in the background. And, you know, Tom Chapin and some other, you know, all these songs and lullabies, and all they ever heard was, you know, especially in Yonkers. I think Aaron had more hearing of it because we lived in Yonkers longer, but there was music always in the background, always.
And by talking about that, again, you left out one important person.
Who?
Leadbelly.
Right.
Leadbelly, his name was Leadbelly, they call him Leadbelly. What did he sing? And every time he talked, little boy, how old are
That's
you?
what you used to sing to me.
And little boy, how? I'm 3 years old.
Right.
Who told me? Alan, again.
Right.
Who remembers?
I remember that. I mean, you used to sing that to
I
me.
remember it. Right.
Right.
Who would think that right now what we're talking about?
Well, that's what, you know, the thing is that one thing about Aaron is that, you know, he appreciates all that music.
Yes.
He's you know, he's the radio manager up in WVKR, I think it is, and it's up in Poughkeepsie, but that's affiliated with Vassar, the school he goes to. But he has a very diverse love of music. You know, he loves jazz, he loves all kinds, and he loves folk music, and he loves all the music. He loves everything from the past. That's one thing about Aaron.
And I think as he was singing, right, he was teaching Kara.
Kara was watching, but Kara's a different person. Kara's musical tastes are different than Aaron's. And I mean, obviously they come from the same family, but you know, like you have two people in the same family, they're gonna, you know, they're gonna find their own identities. They're not gonna be mirror images of each other. And Aaron and Kara are definitely two different people with distinct tastes. They like different things.
And the next way they would grow up, Alan,
Yes.
was when we would go to camp. When we would go to camp, we would. Were they with us?
Never.
They weren't.
No, they were only born in, camp was gone in 1971. Aaron was born in 1994. Camp was gone for 23 years by the time we went to camp. Michael went to camp, but Aaron never met. We went to Workman's Circle. But, and I'm
You're
not sure
right.
if you went. I'm not sure.
Again, thank you.
But I'm not sure. And I'm not sure you came with us to Workman's Circle.
No.
The person who went to Workman's Circle with
Michael.
us was Michael.
Michael.
Right. But Aaron never made it.
No. Anyway, all right, so, and look, as long as they mentioned Michael, so two other kids were born.
Right. But they were born 20 years earlier, 25 years earlier.
And they were a little too old already.
Right.
And
those are my sister's kids, Michael and Gaby. And Michael was born when I was 16 years old. And I'm going to be 60 years old. So that means Michael's going to be 44 years old, which is, I can't believe my first nephew is going to be 44 years old. That is nuts.
be happy.
No, it's good.
As long as they go,
Everybody's
like,
okay.
You know how the days become weeks,
Right.
the weeks become months, the months become years, and boom, for me, 100.
Right. No, but still, and he's, you know, when I look at Michael, he's still the same kid. When he was like, when I first met him.
Alan, you're right.
Just I guess maybe I'm the same person I've always been. We are the people, you know, it's amazing. You think that you're going to, I mean, maybe you learn along the way, but how much do you really change? I don't know. You know, I mean, I think your essence doesn't change that much. I'm not too sure. What do you think, Pop?
As the years go by, our thoughts, our thinking changes.
I think, well, one thing, Aaron will say that the brain starts decaying or whatever, you know, your brain starts aging.
But just the opposite.
Yeah.
It becomes, it improves in a different Alan
Right,
thing.
okay. I know, you're the optimist. You always look at it that way. Aaron looks at it the other way.
Again,
Yes.
I was always the optimist.
Right.
Why? Again, I would never expect to find myself, even now, but at that time, and it's this situation that I was in.
Right.
I couldn't imagine 10 years or 20 years when I
Right.
was a kid, this is going to happen.
How did you feel when you were at the graduation and Kara's up there doing the salutatorian address?
Well, I'm not up to that part.
Okay. No, right.
Look,
There's a lot of time.
I'm trying to go slowly, but for that to happen, Alan.
You know what else? But the other thing that we used to go, let's go to pre-K. We'll start at that. That's a little bit better. Aaron used to go to a pre-K, and you used to go to, they had a graduation that you went to there with Mom, and it was the first time he got a diploma. It was like pre-K, and we were all there, and there was this little glowing little boy, that's getting his diploma at 4 years old or
See,
5 years old.
Again, that's the same. My mom and I, there was no jumping.
Right.
It went very slowly, our graduation to motherhood and fatherhood,
And grandfatherhood.
and then eventually to grandfather.
And great-grandfather.
And
Right.
it was good.
That's it.
How, again, it wasn't easy,
Right.
but I think we made it easy. I don't know that we think about it.
Well, you know what? The other thing about you guys is that you were a type of people that weren't very demanding. You weren't materialistic. The things that a lot of people attach value to, the material things, didn't mean anything to you. You wanted, you ate well, you enjoyed music, you read the newspaper every day. So you were really feeding yourself in certain ways. You were getting, a lot of people have money, they watch TV all day, they drink, all this stuff. You were more like, you read the New York Times every day.
Right. But let's jump forward again
Yes.
to where I am. At Alan,
Yes.
almost nobody,
Yes.
and it's a shame to say it, did the things we did.
Right.
They lived a different kind of I don't understand. We lived a life that we had to live. It was us and everything. People will again, why didn't you do this?
Right.
You had the opportunity. I said, who wanted it? I never thought of many of the things that they think that I could have done.
Right.
And I'm glad that I didn't because
I know. But
and
I understand what you're saying. You're talking about like why things didn't happen in your life, but it doesn't make it. In the end, even with our very famous cousin Al Bendich, he
Yes.
would say, "Did you read this book? This author and all this stuff," and I'd say no, and then he'd say something which I wish I knew what he was saying. It would be a joke like, "What difference does it make?" But he'd say it in Yiddish, like So you don't, it was still the same. We're still people, and that's it. We're still going along the same path.
And Alan, I hope, again, I hope you're the one who does that because with me, I'm going there, and it's very slow. With you, if you're thinking about it, time is going fast.
But you know
Try
what?
to slow it down.
I'm not worried. Part of me, I look at my kids and I say, it's a wonder to me. And you don't live through your kids, but what I do is, I feel like the most important thing is to make sure your kids are okay.
Yes.
And right now, I feel like my kids have surpassed my wildest dreams.
But also, Alan, even though you don't say it, you're doing that. You and Wendy are okay.
Right. Well, we're
you
going to be
have
okay.
to be. Don't because
we're
you are
okay.
healthy.
We are.
You try. You try this and you try that.
Right. No, but the thing is, it's important for us. But I think, when you take on the responsibility, at least, I took it on at a later age, to take on the responsibility of having kids, that became the number one priority. And where did I learn that from? Who did I learn that from, Dad?
From us.
That's it. You guys worked, did you work for yourself?
No,
Or did you work for the family?
we were always.
That's what I'm saying. So to me, that's what I learned from you and Mom, was that the most important thing is to take care, to take care of Wendy, but to take care of the people that need to be taken care of in your family, bottom line. And that's what I got from you. You're the most responsible person I ever met. No one's more responsible than you. You took care of your parents, and you took care of your family. You took care of other people. You've always been a responsible person.
And to me, it was natural.
Right.
And it still is
But it doesn't
natural.
matter whether it's
I never
natural,
thought of it.
unnatural. I'm just stating a fact. That's the way it is. And to have a role model like you, who took care of, who is the most selfless person. And that's why, Wendy will say to me, I let people, we're at dinner and I let everyone have my food, but I won't take theirs because I'm selfless. That's who I am. And how did I get that? From you. And you know what else I got from you?
What?
A bad feeling.
Oh, I can imagine what you're going to
I'll tell you, it's the worst feeling
All right.
because I only got one thing left to say, Pop. Okay? That's a wrap. Good night, folks.